Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today we're going to talk about the Phoenix Suns potentially trading for Damian Lillard. This could be an interesting trade for the Phoenix Suns. There was an article on Bleacher Report earlier today about the five NBA trades that nobody's talking about, and five potential NBA trades that nobody's talking about. And there were a couple of different deals that I think would intrigue a lot of people. Jaylen Brown potentially going to the Magic. There was like a Cam Johnson for Jared Allen swap. There were a couple other deals that I'm not going to bring up. I mean, you can go check out the article. It's an interesting article by Bleacher Report. But the one deal I wanted to talk about is this Damian Lillard for Bradley Beal potential swap. It would be interesting to see the 9-time All-Star and 7-time All-NBA Damian Lillard get traded for Bradley Beal, the 4-time All-Star and 1-time All-NBA. Now, Damian Lillard suffered that torn Achilles. Most likely should be out for the season next year. In this trade, and this is what Bleacher Report said, I think this is what everybody would be thinking. This would be an attempt for the Bucks to try to get Giannis Antetokounmpo to stay and want to stay in Milwaukee and commit to them. And honestly, what this would remind me of is someone who's seen this as a Rockets fan. And on top of that, a buddy of Beal's. This is the example. This is a buddy of Bradley Beal's. John Wall with James Harden. That's what this would remind me of, honestly, with trying to get Bradley Beal to Milwaukee to get Giannis to want to stay in Milwaukee. It would remind me of the Rockets trading Russell Westbrook for John Wall to try to get James Harden to stay in Houston like they did in the 2020-21 season. Didn't last very long at all. And if you look at that, the way that went down, maybe this isn't a great example because the Rockets, maybe this isn't a great idea because the Rockets traded for Wall. He came to Houston. He looked okay. Harden looked bad. He wanted out desperately. They traded him. John Wall's contract was terrible. Eventually, he's just stopped playing. He didn't want to even play anymore, and the Rockets bought him out. And it took about a year for them to actually buy him out. He sat out for a season and a half. So you look at the way that went down, maybe that doesn't look like a great idea for Milwaukee. But honestly, as much as I think Bradley Beal has had some bad seasons over the last couple of years, I think he's much better than what we saw from John Wall in that last season. In that 2020-21 season. And his contract might not be as might be a little bit worse. That's a problem. But maybe it's something that you can get Giannis to stay. It wouldn't be a bad idea. And for the Suns, you get Damian Lillard. You finally get rid of the contract of Beal. You get Lillard, who averaged 25 points per game this year, 7 assists per game, 1 steal per game. Shot 38% from three. Last year, averaged 24 points per game. 32 points per game in the 2022-23 season with Portland, with them not having a lot of help. So obviously he missed probably most of the season, if not all of the season, for Phoenix. But I think for Damian Lillard, if Kevin Durant stays, and I think this makes things more interesting, Damian Lillard, Phoenix would be a good place to go if you're Damian Lillard. You get to go be around Kevin Durant, who's a guy that went through this same injury, and that could be good for Damian Lillard to be around a guy that went through that same injury like Kevin Durant did a couple years ago. It's crazy. That was 6 years ago, a little bit over 6 years ago. And so that would be good for Lillard. But also, if Kevin Durant commits to stay in Phoenix, and you got Devin Booker, and they could be competitive enough to potentially be in the playoff picture, and you get around the March, April area, it's almost playoffs. That's around 10 or 11 months after that Achilles tear for Lillard. If rehab is going well and they're a playoff team, maybe you could see Lillard return. And then Lillard come back and join Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And honestly, Phoenix would be a nice threat with Lillard and and Booker and Durant. I think they'd probably need to add in a more elite center to that squad potentially. I don't know how they would do that, but they would definitely need to do that as well. But it would be a good addition for this Phoenix team if you could get Lillard back around maybe late March, beginning April, where he can play maybe the last couple weeks of the season for Phoenix, and then play in the playoffs. And then you've got Lillard, Durant, and Booker in the playoffs. Now, I think that's the only way that happens is if the Phoenix Suns are competitive in that situation. You don't want to rush Phoenix. You don't want to rush Lillard back if they're the 10 or 9 seed. But if Phoenix with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to start off the year are like maybe the 6th seed, you bring Lillard back and he comes back from his injury. And if not, if he sits out the rest of the year, then the 2025-26 season, the 2026-27 season, you have Lillard and Booker. Durant would be an unknown because he's a free agent, but Lillard could be the number 2 to Booker in the 2026-27 season. And I think it's a better option than Bradley Beal, because if you ever want to get rid of, here's the thing, if you ever want to get rid of Lillard compared to Beal, you don't have to ask Lillard, are you okay going here? Are you okay going there? With Beal, that's something you have to do. If you can get Bradley, if you're Phoenix, if you get Bradley Beal to say, yeah, I'm good going to Milwaukee, get rid of him. And then you get Lillard. That might be another terrible contract, but that's a terrible contract you can move. I don't know how hard it would be to move. I don't know how easy it'd be to move if they tried to, but you don't have to ask Damian Lillard, are you okay going here? I think maybe you should try to see if he's okay if going to that place. But with Bradley Beal, you don't have to say, oh yeah, are you okay with this? You okay with that? Do you not, how do you feel about this? And honestly, I think teams would much rather be interested in trading for Damian Lillard than Bradley Beal. That's if Phoenix would decide to potentially move on from him after trading Beal for him. But I think Lillard, Durant, and Booker would be a good trio if Lillard could come back in the March or April area, if Phoenix was a playoff team. And then if not, Durant leaves, Booker and Lillard could be the one to punch with maybe some of their assets coming in for Phoenix in that scenario. So let me know your thoughts on the potential trade for the Suns and the Bucks in the comment section, and peace out.